Folks, it's my pleasure to introduce our next esteemed panelist, a professional whose journey from developer to security engineer has been nothing short of inspiring. Currently, serving as a senior manager at ServiceNow, he leads the security testing and security application development teams, bringing a wealth of expertise to the table. His passion for cybersecurity extends beyond the workplace. He's a chapter leader for of Null Hyderabad, a vibrant community where like-minded individuals explore the depths of security. His influence has even reached international stages as he shared his knowledge at renowned conferences such as DEFCON and Knowledge. Not just a speaker, he's a hands-on contributor to the field. He holds a distinguished position of being the lead author of an open source project called Shoot, demonstrating his commitment to the industry. Today, we are privileged to have him here, ready to share his valuable insights and experiences on interesting topic AppSec essential for Agile teams. Please join me in welcoming Pavan, a developer turned security engineer.
Right. Thank you, Nimalata. Can you hear me okay? Give me a thumbs up here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Pavan.
Right. Let me share my screen. Just a moment. Great. I hope you can see the screen. Yeah. Thank you for the introduction, Nimalata. I think the gist of my introduction is here. I want to highlight and also relate why I'm taking this talk. But I come from a developer background to a security engineer, and rest of things that that has covered. And for more details, you can check my website. So before I proceed, I want to have a quick survey here. Everyone who's participating in this conference online right now, please go ahead and use the voice is not clear. Okay. Let me check. Is it still same? Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me? Okay. All right. So if you still have any issues with my audio, please let me know. I'm assuming that you can hear me okay. I want to have a quick survey here on all the participants. Please go ahead and put in the title. What do you do? Are you a developer? Are you QE, product owner, administrator, student? Whatever you do, please go ahead and put in your title in this chat. Please make sure to send it to everyone. Okay, I see Santosh done. Everyone, please go ahead and put in your title. What do you do so that I can understand my audience here. Please use the chat window to put your title. Right. I see most people are developer and some in infrastructure. Thank you. So here is the objective of this session. If you are expecting anything to be a deep dive into application security, vulnerabilities, etc., this is not that. So here, my goal is to develop the mindset of security in every role in the front end. So everyone can do security, and I believe the Scrum teams, developers, testers, and other roles can do better than the actual security because you know about your application, what you're building on. And I want to focus on there are many security tools, scanners, and etc. Yes, they do their job, but I want to focus on what the scanners and tools cannot do. So that's the whole objective of this training. So I'm going further. Okay, before I talk, I take a deep dive into my session. I want to introduce one application that I built for this presentation. This is mostly used by an open source project called Django to do. And here there are three kinds of users. So please understand this application. I'll give you a very quick introduction about the application. There are three kinds of users in this application. First level is the end user, who is the least privileged. I have some names like Arjun in the sales organization of a company. Let's imagine a company. And there is Sita, who is on the HR organization of the company. And there is a to-do manager, and then there is admin. To-do manager can have a slightly higher role than end user, and then there is admin. So this will be more clear with this video here. So here is the application, and I'm logged in as Arjun on the sales team. Arjun can see the to-do list available for his group. And if you open that list, you see multiple tasks. So you can mark the task as done, as well as you can create a new task. So now if I log in as Sita on the HR team, she can see another list that is available only in the HR group. So please note that the list available in sales team is different than HR. So there is a logical separation between the tasks. And then Sita can open the list and she can see the tasks available in that. And she can also add new tasks in the HR group. Now I'm logging as to-do manager. And to-do manager, the main difference here is the user can see all the list, as well as the user can create new list. And there are some other options on the menu as well. So let's go ahead and try to create a new list. So here is how I can create a new list. I can choose any group and I can create a new list. So this is the to-do manager. Now there's another hidden page here called admin, and that's Django's default administrators. So I'm logging in as admin, and just to show you what the admin looks like. So this is the highest privileged user on the application. The user can see all the users available, manage those users, their status, if are they staff, they can manage the group, and many other things. And that's the introduction to my application. So let's go back to the slide. Yeah. So the first one is about client-side security and user authorization. So let's take a look at what it is. So again, I'll explain this with a demonstration. So here I have the application open and I'm logging in as the to-do manager user. So the main difference between the to-do manager and the end user is to-do manager can create new list. So here I use a tool called Burp Suite, which is the community edition is free, and there are many other alternative tools for Burp as well. My favorite is Burp, but there are tools like Fiddler, WhatsApp can also do the same thing, or even in fact Postman. So here I have configured my browser through Burp Suite. All the traffic will go through that. So when the request leaves my browser before reaching the server, I can stop it, I can modify it, and then send it. So I'm using that, have reconfigured it. I'm turning on the interception. Now, as soon as I click the login button, you see the request is coming to Burp. This is a raw HTTP request. Just haven't reached the server yet. I'm intercepting it right now, and then I can see the whole body, including the password that I entered on the phone. So now the Burp Suite can also give you a lot of other functions. So now let's proceed further, and I'm trying to create a new list. So as a to-do manager, I'm authorized to create a new to-do list. So I'm creating a list, and then I'm adding it to the one of the groups. So let's take HR group. So here, before I click submit, please note that I have turned the interception on Burp Suite. That means I will be able to intercept it and see the request before it goes. So here I'll copy the URL because I want it for some other purpose, and I'll put it in my notepad. I'm just noting it down, and I need the body of this request as well. So I have copied that, which basically says the name and the group that I selected. So please note that I have dropped the, I'm sorry, one second. Okay, I have to scroll it again. Yeah, so here I copied the request, and then I have, I will drop the request. Okay. So that means that request did not go to the server, so that creation of the task is incomplete. So now proceeding further, here so just to confirm that the list is not created, I'll show you the list. So you see there are existing 2 lists are still there. So now I'll open another incognito window, which the previous session is as to do manager is intact, and this is another new session. I'm logging in as Arjun on the sales team. So here I see the group, and there is an option of creating a task. So now I turn on the interception. Now entering the task because as Arjun, the end user, I will be able to create a new task. Note this request is actually for Arjun to create a new task, but I'll do something magic here. You remember the request that I copied from the to-do manager, right? So I'm changing the URL to that, and then changing the body to create a new list. Just let me remind you, Arjun is not authorized to create a new list. But I intercepted one of the requests and modified to the one that is matching as to manager, just to confirm that if the Arjun is only creating this, I'm adding another extra note that by Arjun. This is for proof purpose. So now forwarded the request, and then there are some redirects. So let's not worry about that. I turn on the interception. And now let's reload this, the list of to-dos as to-do manager. You see the list is added by Arjun. So that's the demo here. To debrief, we were able to get the request to create a new list and retry that same request, replay this, send the same request to server as a user who is not authorized to create a new list. So that's why I was able to bypass it. So, so here's the first learning from this demo, that a lot of developers believe that hiding from the UI, not adding a hyperlink from the menu, or disabling the search engine crawls in robust text, or keeping the URL random, those do not help. There are scanners who can brute force all the possibilities with the common use words into the list. And also, it is most of the times it is easy to predict. So do not rely on security by hiding something. Client-side validations and other functions are for user experience, for UI only. Any security sensitive validation should be at the server side. So as a developer, a lot of times we test as one record, right? So please, we need to understand our application, and there will be some things to check depending on your business, the requirements, and you will only identify those if you have more data, especially with cross user. So one user is not supposed to access another user's data, And as a developer, if you're done with the coding and you're testing it only one data, you will not be able to recognize if there is an issue or something that you missed in the implementation. So client-side auditions are like this. I'll give you a moment to understand the job. Give me a reaction if you got it. So there is a hotel or let's say some public area where they have a phone and they don't want anybody to dial any numbers other than the emergency number. So they have put this validation. So that's like the client-side validation, and you can register this post on Reddit. Okay, as a QE, if you are a tester, if you are a business user tester, you are testing something, know your target very well, understand your target, and know what is expected, what is not expected. Maybe if you're working for an e-commerce company, you should understand the general how e-commerce applications should work, right? Always stress with cross-user, and sometimes security is mostly common sense. We just need to stop and then think through that, and then anybody can find security issue. The vulnerabilities around the user authorization and cross users, usually most cases, the tools and scanners do not find them. So we need to have a manual coverage for these kind of things. And it's most cases it's easy to identify during your development and testing basically. Another tip, when you are testing something, first try as highest privilege user so that you can see what are all the functions available, and then try that as lower privilege user. So if there is any API call or any links on the page, you can replay them as low privilege user. Again, test with more data and you will be able to find these kind of issues within your development lifecycle. Okay, so that was easy. That was to get started. Let's go with one more slightly moderate level, deeper security vulnerabilities in application security. Injections. So here I'll again take an example with this demo application. So I have two windows. First one on the left side, I will log into admin, the Django administrator, and I'm entering my password, and I can see all the users. And there is this user, Arjun, our favorite user. Please note that Arjun doesn't have staff status and super user. So this is like a higher privilege in Django if you know Django is. On the right side, I will again try to confirm to show you that I'm logging in as Arjun on the admin. He definitely doesn't have the access, but he has access to the end user facing UI, which he was able to log in. And then he can see the list and know that Arjun has logged in on the bottom. He can see the task. And there is this add comment section. So there is something interesting there. It says HTML supported, right? So now let's proceed further and let's see what happens if I add a HTML. So I'm adding a head 3 comment, and note that it is rendering as HTML. So I'll take a pause here. Please open your chat window and put in your thoughts. What would you test? What did you do here? So now we see the HTML is accepted. Please open your chat window and tell me what would you test. Please put it in the chat window and put it to everyone so that people can see your thoughts. So if you are a developer, or if you are a developer, you're testing someone else's code, peer reviewing or testing someone else's code functionality written by your peers, or you are a tester and you want to find bugs, right? What would you test? Somebody said a script. Okay, Nikhil, can you elaborate what is wrong with script? What can go wrong with script? Anyone? If you see HTML, what can you do with the HTML? Behavior to some action that is not intended. That's good. Any other thoughts? Can you, let's take an example here. So we have this Django application, which is, if you're not familiar with Django, it's a web framework by Python. What is the worst thing, or in security terms, the security view, what is the best thing you can do with this HTML? The most dangerous or notorious action that you would do here. You'll add an image with some JS here. That's maybe right. Can somebody tell me, in Django or similar web application where you have multiple levels of users, if end user can add a HTML, what is the worst thing that you can do? Please elaborate. Steal cookies, that's good idea, Shilajit. Note that you can steal cookie, and the security sensitive cookies are usually, and nowadays almost all web application will have the HTTP only flag set to true. And when that happens, you cannot access the cookies from JavaScript. So you cannot do a session overriding on some devices. Cookie. That's a good idea though. If the cookie is not secure, then you can probably add it and then log in as that user. So you would, Alexei is saying you would fetch, but what do you do as fetch? Okay, so now I'll show you a magic here. So let's put in some code. And then I, on the other side, I access the same page as admin. Okay, I didn't do anything. I just access as an admin on the left side. I access the same post which had the some magical script by Arjun, and then I reload this Arjun's user profile and see what happens. Okay, it is set to true, set to false, and now he got the staff and super user status access. So let me show you the code. Let me just reshare it with the node. Yeah. Can you see? So I'm making Ajax call using fetch and adding to the admin auth ID with user ID, and then adding the super user status to true here, and then that. So as admin is allowed to make somebody another user admin. So I raided on his admin or his or her session and then got the admin access. So this is the these kind of things can happen if you have untrusted data concatenating with your user data. So a lot of times this can lead to XSS, HTML injection, SQL injection, prompt injection, anything. Whenever you're concatenating with the user data, always try to escape it, or if applicable, sanitize it. So sanitization usually should happen when you want to accept like HTML from the user, and when there is as HTML, like a HTML editor, so that it will remove any malicious content from there. Output escape it as possible. Whenever using a framework, do not disable those default escaping. In this case, Django has a defense by default. I turned it off just for demonstration, and trust me, I have seen a lot of people doing that for some purpose. Always rely on the platform and or frameworks security. If you're a tester, test with a lot of data. Think about changing the context of the input in these kind of injections or fuzzing. Make use of a scanner. The WhatsApp is one of the open source tool. There are many other free open source and commercial tools as well. So I want to proceed further. So these are two main things, main topics, and there are some reminders. to follow as if you are a Scrum team, Agile team. Third-party packages. Neelu talked about supply chain attacks, and third-party packages is a part of that. Vulnerabilities can happen because of someone else's code that you included. So always use the popular active projects. Make sure you have some kind of SCA solution which can monitor all the third-party packages, libraries that you included in a regular time, maybe nightly or whatever cadence that works for you. And you look at those findings and keep upgrading. One of the common problem that I've seen is developers want to, they found some script or some library, they had to modify a little bit and modify it and include in the local file. When that happens, it's very difficult to for ACA or other tools to identify. So please avoid doing that. If it is open source, please talk to the contributors and try to get the feature that you wanted from there itself. Administrators, beat the defaults. Do not use default passwords. We have seen many big enterprise incidents because of this, and trust me, people still do that. So do not use the default passwords. Have a good password management. Note that having a random IP, random port doesn't mean that it is secure. There are tools like Nmap and other scanners can find out any URL, IP address, port that they have. So rely on the actual security than hiding it. Have your cloud posture management, identify your public endpoints that are available and try to turn it off and have a policy around that. Continuous update and patch, always keep your systems updated. Another best thing is if you're, I believe ThoughtWorks have a security champion. If you work for ThoughtWorks, please become a security champion. If you're working for some other company, please check if you have the program. This is a volunteer where you can promote security being within the team. These are the 4 topics I covered in the WAS top 10. For more details, there are many other write-ups and go through that. There can be please note that there can be vulnerabilities outside the top 10 as well. Don't stick to just top 10. All right, so that's the end of my presentation. If you found it useful, please give me a share on social media. And I see a lot of people ask for slides. You can note this URL, or I'll give you a moment to scan the QR code to get the QR code. Somebody asked for escape, putting more insight on escape output. Escape output is when you, so let's say you're getting a HTML from the user. So for example, if you have a HTML character, that should convert into these entities. For example, if you have a less than symbol, that should get converted into ampersand LT in the actual data. So that's, so you escape it instead of accepting the character as raw and treat the data as code. There are multiple ways of escaping. For example, escaping could be different for HTML, could be different for SQL commands. So for example, if you are dynamically concatenating a query, first of all, don't do that. But if you had to, make sure you escape the user data before you concatenate with your remaining SQL statements. So that was all the questions.
There's another question in the Zoom. That is, can you share your experience with the OSAP ZAP? Did you try to add it to CI/CD pipeline?
Yeah, so I know I haven't done it personally, but I know have some teams who have done that, and they got a very good result. Okay, any other question? I don't see any open questions.
Yeah, there are no open questions.
All right, thank you, everyone. I hope you found something interesting today. Thanks for listening, and thank you ThoughtWorks and SecConf for having me here.
Yeah, thank you, Pavan. It was so interactive.